ed ho il piacere di avere qui questa sera una persona che abbiamo incontrato in questo percorso di internazionalizzazione, che è la ministra albanese per l'imprenditoria, Edona Bilali. Buonasera. Ci accomodiamo. Prego, prego. Buonasera.
Buonasera, piacere di essere qua.
È un piacere per noi. Faremo l'intervista in inglese, però 2 parole in italiano le possiamo comunque scambiare?
Sì, 2 parole.
2 parole. 2 parole. Io ho avuto la fortuna di conoscere la Ministra appunto nel roadshow e di poter apprezzare un po' tutto quello che è il piano di innovazione e di attrazione dell'imprenditorialità che stai portando avanti, che si sta portando avanti in Albania, dove c'è un ecosistema molto florido ed è possibile anche incontrare le start-up che abbiamo selezionato nella tappa recente che abbiamo realizzato in Albania in collaborazione. Quindi è davvero un piacere avervi qui, ospiti del WMF.
Infatti voglio cominciare esattamente da questo punto, dal piacere e dell'onore di essere qua. Io sono nata nel 89, nel 90 cade il sistema comunista in Albania, nel 91 succede l'esodo più grande albanese. Da una nave soltanto partono più di 20.000 albanesi da Valona in Albania e vengono a Bari. L'Italia ci accolge come fratelli e infatti questo lo abbiamo vissuto durante tutti questi anni. Nel 2020 cade il Covid, che fu una cosa straordinaria per tutto il mondo, ma anche per l'Italia in maniera particolare. È giusto come il fratello piccolo che adesso è cresciuto e può dare un pochino una mano al grande fratello che l'ha sostenuto durante tutta la vita, il governo albanese in maniera modesta ha portato degli medici e degli infermieri in Italia giusto per dire grazie e per sollevare per quello che si poteva la situazione. Adesso, nel 2023, io sono qua per dire che l'Albania ce l'ha fatta. È una storia di successo in cui l'Italia non ha un ruolo minore. Infatti è il contrario. Questo era solo per dirvi grazie, non abbiamo dimenticato e adesso siamo pronti a continuare a fare grandi cose insieme. Grazie.
No, è davvero molto bello, insomma, questo percorso, che sta continuando ad andare avanti, però qual è il piano, no, di attrazione delle start-up che state sviluppando?
Per tanti governi e stati, continuo in inglese adesso.
Vai in inglese.
For many countries and governments, innovation is perceived as a talent, is perceived as something born, is perceived as a cultural thing. It's perceived as a matter of infrastructure. It's perceived also as policies that different policymakers make. But for some other countries, like in our case, digitalization and innovation, it's a way, but sometimes it's the only way. And this is the case, for example, for our fight against corruption. We decided to very strongly point on digitalization and innovation, and now I can proudly say that Albania ranks between the first 10 states within the European Union to have more than 95% of the services that citizens benefit online and for free. This is a major step but it is one step. When we started to look at startups, we were latecomers. Silicon Valley was established more than 100 years ago. Israel branded itself as the startup nation more than 30 years ago. So we sat down with some great minds between the government, experts, international experts, and we decided that we needed something very competitive in order to make Albania standing significantly, not only in the region, but also in the European area. And we decided that what was the problem? One of the problems was with the definition of startup. So in many countries, there is a board or some expert who decides either you are a startup or you're not a startup. So we came up 2 years ago with an idea, with a startup passport. And it is very simple. Whoever thinks that its idea is a startup, it doesn't need a validation, it's a self-declaration that can be online from anywhere in the world. You could also do it right here. And within 48 hours, you receive the startup passport. What provides this startup passport is 2 years of free assistance in more than 18 public institutions, and it also makes you eligible to apply for grants. Not little for a country with a GDP like ours. The government has dedicated a budget of 10 million euros that will be spent during this 4-year period. And we just closed in December the first round in which 58 applicants were selected as winners, and very soon we will open the next call. Was it enough? Of course it was not enough. It is innovative. We have put the money. We are the first country, not only in the region, but also in Europe, to have a dedicated law for the development of startups. We went a few weeks before now, we came up with another idea. We are creating an agency. It will be called Startup Albania and will be open within next month in order for every startup or ecosystem player to have a single dedicated window. A window that is more proactive and here speaks the same language as startups do. Yet, we discovered that innovation comes also from well-established companies. So what could we do here? Here we decided to have a tax incentive, and a few years back we decided that any company that would register in Albania that it operates in the ICT sector has a tax profit of, can pay a tax profit of only 5%. And speaking, I have a degree in economics. Speaking from this perspective, 5% is almost nothing. The result was more than 2,000 companies registered now in Albania. 2,000 companies, it's not only a great number in terms of job creation, but it is the greatest number in terms of expertise exchange, network, and what we are aiming now, digitalization. There is a big gap between the region, the Western Balkan region, and let's say the more developed part. I would include also Italy, but also I'm speaking now about the Nordic countries such as Estonia and going furthermore like Israel or United States. To close a little bit the gap, we took a chance. And we took a chance, and now I'm taking also the liberty to suggest to the Italian government to do the same with a very target group that emerged during the pandemic. I'm speaking about digital nomads. They started moving around, and in 2020, there were something like 4 million, but it is estimated then for the next 80 years, 1/6% of the world will be digital nomads. And with this in mind, of course, some governments were very keen on making some packages, and we studied the model of Portugal, of Spain, of even Greece. After studying them, we decided that we would offer something that nobody has, because in order for them to consider Albania, of course, we need to be more competitive. And it is a funny story, and I say it always the same way. What is more competitive than zero? This is our offer, zero. Zero taxes for every person, for every citizen, non-resident or non-Albanian, that decides to stay in Albania for 1 year. It will not be taxed. And we are the only country that has this tax incentive. This is the first, and the second is that they apply in a very simple way online for the digital visa. I don't think it's a coincidence that we have 2 people that are listed in the Forbes 30 under 30. I don't think that it is a coincidence that the mastermind behind ChatGPT, Mira Murati, is Albanian. And I don't think it's also a coincidence that she migrated to Italy, and now also her parents continue to live here, although she is making a success not only in the United States, but is transforming the world as we know it. I'm very happy that we started this collaboration. I'm very proud to see not only our 3 startups from Albania, but I had the chance to meet a little bit from everywhere. And I'm not usually impressed, but I am so much impressed of the event that you have put together. So startups, trainers, mentors, speakers. Also, the chill place was very nice. And I really hope, and I promise from our part, the government of Albania, that we would really love to have this organization next year in Albania.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, see you next year in Albania.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bene, è stato davvero un piacere. Avete visto un po' queste relazioni, il lavoro che sta portando avanti la Ministra in Albania.